Our next caller is Ashley from Tennessee.
Hi, Ashley.
What's happening?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
So I'm a 5'1" female, currently weighing in at about 140 pounds. According to an in-body scanner where you weigh yourself, you hold the probes. When I first started, I was at about 80% of the ideal muscle mass for my height and weight, so pretty under muscled, which is a common thing as you guys talk about. Over the summer, I increased my calories to about 1,700 calories a day. My maintenance, I believe, was about 1,500, and I also started intaking about 125 to 130 grams of protein. I was lifting about 2 times per week, playing ultimate frisbee in the summer, 1 day a week, and I gained 1.5 pounds of muscle, which is great. I think that's the first time I've ever gained muscle in my life.
That's great.
And that was only 49 days. However, in that 49 days, I also gained about 2.5 pounds of fat, and my body fat percentage went up. So my clothes got tighter. So I got stronger, I could tell, but I also gained fat, and so I became really discouraged. So then I started waffling between kind of cutting, kind of not. Right now, basically, I feel lost. Since then, I have discovered, I went to my doctor. Apparently, I may have hypothyroidism. So I have a follow-up visit in a couple of weeks to do more blood work to get some confirmation on that. But I've been gluten-free now for about 6 weeks, brand new, which is really tough. So I know that maybe that's playing a role, the hypothyroidism, the metabolism. But my goals are build strength and muscle. I think that'd be really cool. But mostly I want to lose fat. I don't want my clothes to keep getting tighter and just to be feeling uncomfortable in my body. So I've been kind of wavering. I just listened to the SBC episode. So I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to recommend. But I just think maybe my expectations were off. I guess I thought maybe I could gain muscle without gaining fat. And so, I'm wondering if maybe one, that was unrealistic. And I'm looking between, I've considered the MAPS Anabolic or the MAPS 15. So basically, I'm not someone who loves to be in the gym. I go in the gym 2 to 3 times a week, and I just have been doing 2 lifts. I've been doing push and pull, and then hopefully a leg day, which sometimes I kind of skip, if I'm being honest. I don't love legs. And so when I considered the programming, I thought it seems like either I could do the same kind of lifts, like 2 lifts every single day, like MAPS 15, or I know you guys recommend MAPS Anabolic, but it's a full body, so it would take up more time. So I guess my question is, given my current stats and goals, how do I move forward without backsliding into old patterns or sabotaging the progress I've made? And is it unreasonable to expect strength and muscle gain without fat gain alongside of it?
Yeah, good question.
Really good question. A lot of good stuff too. I want to ask one more thing though, before, to get more detail on when you went to your the 1,700 calories. Do you know what you were before that?
I think based on eating patterns, it was probably about 1,500 calories. But before that, I had gained a lot of weight just from processed food. I was in a happy relationship. I was doing really well. And so I think I just realized, I'm eating unhealthy. And so when I got my eating in order, I think it was about 1,500 calories, but no idea on the protein, probably pretty low on the protein.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking that is because I didn't think that 1,700 was going up very high from wherever you were, and the likelihood that you put on that much body fat, and it's more likely that the body fat test was just a little off, or you had a little more water in your system when you took the test, and so it registered higher or lower. I doubt you increased by only 200 calories and put on that much body fat. You probably did better than you think you did.
Well, there's a couple things too, because you're moving in the right direction. But there's 2 factors play a role here. One, the hypothyroidism. If that is indeed something that is confirmed and you treat that, it makes a big difference. Makes a huge difference with fat loss and muscle gain. Hypothyroidism also affects muscle gain. A lot of people don't know that. So that's one. Number 2, when I talk to someone like you who's doing what you're doing, typically what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they do strength training, they don't push the strength. They kind of go in and do the exercise, but they're scared of pushing the intensity and really challenging themselves. Is that what happens with you, Ashley?
100%. Yeah. So I tend to lean more towards running. So focused on just the foundational lifts. So I watched a lot of the Mind Pump TV actually to kind of guide me. And I do stuff out from like my home gym. It's basically Facebook Marketplace stuff
Cool.
that I got for cheap. But I watch Mind Pump TV to make sure I'm doing the lifts. I go slow. And I did a program on my own through a smart app where it was to increase my 1 rep max. But like I said, I really have very little muscle. So, I mean, I could tell, I was like, oh, wow, I could feel it on my own. But yeah, I'm still pretty low as far as like weight on the bar goes, because sometimes the bar is still all I can do for like overhead press. It's really hard.
Yeah. So if you were my client, I would, one of the things I would help you work on is feeling confident pushing the weight. And that alone would make your strength explode. The fact that you gained a little bit of muscle anyway just tells me that you were practicing the lifts, which is not bad at all. But you do, you need to also push the intensity a little bit. I think MAPS 15 would be the perfect program for you. And I want you, now don't sacrifice form. So I'm not telling you to go loose with your form, but push yourself, see how strong you can get while simultaneously continuing to increase your calories. And what you'll see is more muscle gain. By the way, the in-body scan that you got is well within the range of the margin of error. So there's a margin of error on that scan for how accurate it can be. It's never perfectly accurate. It can't be. So the best correlate you have as to whether or not you're gaining muscle is strength. So when I hear you say, I feel like I got stronger, what that sounds to me like is you're not testing it or pushing it. You just kind of feel stronger. But if you're stronger and you're pushing it, you'll know, because you're like, I did 10 more pounds, or I'm doing 20 more pounds, or I just did 5 more reps.
One of the ways that I will coach a client like you through this process is, as you go through MAPS 15, you're going to open it up. You're going to see there's going to be an exercise in there, and it's going to call for 10 reps. When you choose that weight, I actually want you to fail before that 10. That's not normal. Normally when I coach somebody, we always say 2 in the tank. But if I, make sure you can do at least 2 more, I actually am going to push you to go like, listen,
make it hard.
Make it so hard that you may only be able to get 8. And that's okay. Stop at 8. If you can only get 8, stop at 8. But that tells me like, okay, she put enough weight on that bar that she was not getting anywhere near 10. I want to challenge that side of you. Because if you know that you're already somebody who leans to like lighter weight, I'd rather do cardio, I don't really push the strength, I'm a little more nervous that way. That's one of the ways that I'm going to build the confidence in you, is like, don't worry too much if it says 10 reps. I want you to choose a weight that's going to be so challenging for 10, you may only get 8.
Now, one last thing I'll add, Ashley, is if hiring a personal trainer in person is feasible for you, I think it'd be a good idea, just so you can feel that security of having a spotter and feeling comfortable. Because I've trained a lot. Look, there's a few things that you said that reminded me of many people that I've trained. Like, I feel like I'm getting stronger. I don't build a lot of muscle. I never have a lot of muscle. What that usually means to me is that you've never really been able to touch that side of yourself. You've never really been able to get in touch with like what it feels like to summon strength. And that's actually something you have to get used to. And a trainer can help you do that. But nonetheless, if you just follow MAPS 15 and push yourself a little bit, you're going to watch what happens to your strength.
So I get nervous about going too hard, because I tend to still be on the side of being sore right now a lot, because everything is pretty heavy. So I get nervous about pushing it just a little too far, kind of like you guys have mentioned in several episodes. So I think that's partly why I've not pushed myself. What would be a good factor of when I'm lifting the weight? Because I can, when I'm doing my overhead press and I'm doing the bar, I keep wanting to add weight to it. So far, I can't really effectively do it and get more than like 3 reps in. So I'm like, well, if I just do the bar for 10 reps, and then next time I could add weight and do 2, like, does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. You could also switch to dumbbells, because the barbell's heavy by itself. 45-pound overhead press for a lot of people is pretty heavy. So you could switch to dumbbells.
And if you're still getting sore from the weight you're doing right now, you're probably doing okay. I mean, normally what ends up happening with someone like you is you're no longer getting sore anymore. You can do the weight relatively easy, but then you're just afraid to go up and push yourself. But if you're still getting sore from the workouts, then you're probably doing okay right now. Just need to be patient.
And one last thing to add is that being hypothyroid affects recovery. So oftentimes adding thyroid, if that is appropriate, it like I said, it's people think of fat loss, which is true, but it also contributes to muscle gain. There is a function of thyroid when it comes to muscle health and function. So that could also be playing a role.
That's all super helpful. Yeah, I've been dialing in on the diet, trying to get the thyroid under control. And then, like I said, I go back, but I also started doing B12 and ashwagandha, or actually a methylated B complex.
Yeah,
so it has a lot of stuff in it. So that's really great. So then for someone of, my height and size, I think oftentimes I am pretty short. I'm only 5'1". I know you guys said average woman should shoot maybe for like 150 pounds, which would be 150 grams of protein. Based on just what you know about me right now, is that still what you would recommend, or should I dial it back in? Because when I look on all the different websites, they all have a different idea of what my calorie intake should be and what I should be shooting for.
Yeah, 150 grams of protein at 1,700 calories is too much protein for that low of calories. So I would have you aim for like 120 grams of protein would be plenty. But I think you should aim for about 1,850 to 1,900 calories with good strength training.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that.
You got it.
You're on the right path.
15.
You're on the right path. Keep it up, Ashley.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. I mean, how many times have you trained a client like that where they're just afraid to push?
Yeah.
And I could tell when she was like, I don't build muscle easily, and I feel like I'm getting strong. Feel like I'm getting stronger means you don't know because you're not.
Right. It's not tangible. It's quantifiable once you start seeing the actual load increase.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had that?
That's a process.
This has happened to me so many times. I'll get this client, they'll come in, and then I'll be like, okay, what do you normally do for this weight?
Yeah.
And then they'll do it, and I'll be like, you could add like 10 pounds. No, I can't. Yeah, you can. I'll add 10
and
pounds.
since she's so new to this, she'll be sore a bit. And you're going to have to work through that. And I think, because we've talked a lot about that's not a good indicator of a good workout and this, but when you're brand new to the whole experience, you got to get through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's opposite advice that I normally would give, which is, hey, make sure you leave 2 in the tank. But when you have a client like that, a lot of times they have no idea what they're even capable of.
Right.
And so whatever we're doing rep wise that day, I'm like, listen, you pick up a weight that I want you to not be able to do that way, which is not normal advice I give to anybody else. But what happens a lot of times is they put a weight on and they end up surprising themselves and they end up doing it. It's like, oh, well, you could have even went up higher.